This week, the DoD has funded a project or multiple projects to study several aspects of wildland fire, and luckily Fort Stewart was chosen to host this large research project. This week we implemented 3 prescribed burns of approximately 3,000 acres total with three different burn units, and so that was spread over a period of 6 days. So it was a burn day and then a little break, tear down, data collection, and then we did a burn the following day. We kept that pattern, and so today is the culmination of that with the 1,294 acre prescribed burn by aerial ignition. In the past, I know maybe 15, 20 years ago, we had some smoke research done here, but as far as I'm aware, this is the first real research for wildland fire that's been conducted on Fort Stewart.
People in my team will be collecting information on wildland fuels before and after the fire, how much is burned. That's going to link up with people who are making measurements of the smoke so that we'll be able to relate how much fuel is consumed to the smoke that comes out of the fire and what it's made of, for example. There will be other people that will be using remote sensing on helicopters and satellites to look at the ground before and after the fire and see what it looks like before, make estimates of how much biomass was here, make estimates afterwards of how much was consumed, compare that to our on-the-ground measurements, and then also to take a look at the vegetation afterwards and see the patterns and processes that lead to the green up afterwards and the recovery of vegetation.
The fire behavior team's mission was to collect as much information about the rate and quantity of energy released in the fire. So we had a helicopter that's orbiting with some thermal sensors in it, infrared imagers, and others, radiometers. Radiometers are instruments that measure the amount of radiant heat that's emitted by a fire. By knowing the amount of radiant heat, we can tell a lot about the combustion dynamics. So they're up there orbiting. We had some satellites tasked way out there in space, but our job is to measure it closer to the ground where we can actually look at the connection between the variability in fuels on the ground and fire behavior. So our work is connected with the fuels team, their LiDAR imagery and their mapping of type and quantity and arrangement of fuel. And then we position our sensors above their plots, and we look at fire behavior in a very quantitative way and not qualitative. And so we can start using that information to inform and evaluate the next generation coupled fire atmosphere models that we're working on, like QuickFire and FireTech.
Main goal is to sort of figure out what the plume is doing and what it's made of. So the concentration of the particles in it, how dense it is, where it's going to move, and also the velocity, so how fast it's moving. So we have this laser that shoots out to the smoke plume, and we scan vertically, horizontally, and also we stare straight up into the sky when that smoke plume comes over us. And additionally, we also take wind profiles every 10 minutes or so to see what that wind speed and direction is like, so we know, oh, smoke plume might be moving this way or that way, and adjust our scans.
We're trying to help the land managers manage the smoke in a responsible way and a way that they can accomplish their objectives.
So the Integrated Research Management Team is to help these projects as far as harmonizing, sharing data to make sure that there are tools that come out of the science that can be applicable to help managers at places like Fort Stewart, and especially places that are still learning and sometimes struggling with getting their prescribed fire acreage.